Harry Styles and Golden. Well, let's go to the golden screens. Ah, yes. I love a good flick, but it hasn't been an easy year, has it, for the film world? Cinemas have, of course, faced major challenges as a result of the pandemic, but it doesn't mean we haven't had fantastic new releases, many of them streamed right into our living rooms. And like books, as we discussed yesterday, films are a great place to escape in difficult times. And Van Connor is BBC Radio Oxford's resident film critic. You've probably heard him chatting with Adam Ball on a Friday afternoon. Morning to you, Van.
And a good morning to you as well, Lily. I hope you had a lovely Christmas.
I did. Now, before we get on to your fave films of this year, I was reading something on social media, Van. I'm dropping you in the deep end here about a plot twist of one of our favourite Christmas movies. And someone had freeze-framed something of Home Alone, which is a still of the bin. And there looks like there's a Kevin flight ticket that's been ripped up and put in the bin. So people are going, maybe his dad didn't want him to come after all. And I don't know if it's for real. I know.
No, that's explained in the film. They spill Pepsi, I think, on his plane ticket early on when the young, I think it's Fuller, his cousin, gets squished by the dining chair, and they have the whole family argument. The mum actually throws his ticket away. That's sort of an offhand shot. That's canon. That's something you're meant to notice.
Right, good. Marvellous. I'm glad we laid that to rest very quickly. Now, 2020.
While we're at it, Die Hard is a Christmas film. We'll solve that one.
Oh, my goodness, Van. Hang on. I'm glad I'm sat down. Knocking them out of the park here. All the controversies. But challenging year for the film industry is probably an understatement, isn't it, Van?
Challenging would be a very charitable way of describing it. Absolute hell for anybody who works in the entertainment profession whatsoever, as you well know, would be a probably more apt description. It's been an absolutely demonstrably terrible year, made worse by the fact that it's gone on so long, by the fact that there's so much uncertainty. We can't make concrete plans for, say 6 months down the line. And when you're dealing with studios who plan these releases in years in advance, they're not exactly the most flexible of corporations, really.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to be positive about, I think.
Well, we managed to find 5 entire movies that were worth being positive about this year. And to be fair, I had to whittle those down from about 25. Okay. So it's not awful. But to put it in context, there were 12 films. According to the Film Distributors Association, there were 12 films released this year in the month of April. In an average week in normal times, you'd get 12 just on a Friday.
Yeah, that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? So you have chosen your top 5 films of 2020. I'm going to play just a little bit of Queen and Slim trailer, and then we'll chat about that, Van. Hang on.
I didn't feel like being alone. Not tonight.
So you turned to Tinder.
Go ahead and ask you to step out of the vehicle for me.
Get on the ground! Keep your hands where I can see him!
Why is he under arrest?
What
is your badge number?
Chill, just chill!
I'm reaching for my cell phone! Now let's go.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you stay
got killers, got killers. We're in the Black Bonnie and Clyde.
You see it breaking and everybody shaking up.
How you gonna outrun the police?
We don't have to outrun them. We just have to make sure they don't know where we are. All we can do is go forward. There is nothing back there for us.
Oh, Van, chuck a bit of Bee Gees into the soundtrack and I am happy. Tell us about Queen and Slim.
So Queen and Slim is a movie from Melina Matsoukas starring our very own Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith. And the pictures you sort of hear loosely in that trailer clip there is the idea of doing the Black Bonnie and Clyde. But more than that, because obviously you can, as we've established over the years, black cinema, particularly black mainstream American cinema, can very easily, if it wants to, simply make the same movie again, but with an African-American cast. What they've done with Queen and Slim is to contemporize the Bonnie and Clyde story into something socially relevant and something that speaks exclusively to the black experience. It's got phenomenal performances. It's got a belter of a script. Great support from Bokeem Woodbine, for instance, in there as well. But it's about that central couple, and they are just pure fire together.
Fantastic. And next up, I have to admit, the only one I've seen, Van, of your fabulous list, but it was tremendous, broke ground at the Oscars. Parasite. Well worth watching.
Oh, absolutely. And as you say, I mean, it won Best Picture at the Oscars. There's an argument that he's hands down the best picture of the last 12 months. So I'm certainly on that side. But I'm biased as hell on this one anyway, because it's Bong Joon-ho directing. And I'm a huge, ride or die Snowpiercer fan. So anything Bong Joon-ho releases has my ticket money just the minute it's announced. Parasite is a film about a class divide. It's about Machiavellian one-upmanship. It is about rich versus poor. It is just this wonderful South Korean. I can't even define it as a genre, because as you can test, it's part comedy, part horror movie, part thriller, part drama, it's a little bit of everything. And also, by the time you get to the third act of it, it might be the definitive film to actually sum up 2020 as an experience as well.
Yes, don't go to any garden parties of the people involved is my advice. Now, on the record, what do you love about this?
So on the record, I was a very big fan. This came out of nowhere. I sat down to watch the screen and I was blown away. New film from Kirby Dick and frequent collaborator Amy Ziering. Kirby Dick, I'm a big fan of from having directed a documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, which is about the American film rating system back in, I think, 2006, 2007. This is about the sexual assault allegations surrounding Russell Simmons, the hip-hop mogul, as he were, basically the godfather of hip-hop, as we're told. And it is presented to us through the stories of Drew Dixon, who at one point was, one of the biggest talents, one of the biggest rising stars on the production side of the music industry. You get to see some of the things she's produced in her time, and we are talking about iconic works. And she was effectively sort of outcast from the industry entirely. And now, with the aid of 20 other accusers, we get to hear her story for the first time in its entirety. It's harrowing. It is absolutely disturbing, and I'm sure for a not insignificant number of women in the world, all too familiar. A very, very gripping story that, as I say, is about as heartbreaking as it is compelling. Can't recommend highly enough that you check this out. This is on Sky Atlantic or Sky Arts. This is on Sky Arts, I think, a lot.
Okay, great stuff. And then briefly lead us into the Possessor trailer before I play that, Van. So,
Possessor, new film from the son of one of my favourite directors, who it turns out is said director's natural successor, David Cronenberg's son, Brandon, who's come up with one of the greatest assassin movies I've ever heard of. This is a movie in which assassins use virtual reality to hijack human beings and use them as patsies to commit assassinations, only for it all to go horribly wrong when the said virtual reality link starts to break down during a job.
Okay, let's hear a bit of this.
You have a very special nature, one we've worked hard together to unlock. The results are normal. Anything you want to flag? No, I'm fine.
How was your trip?
Dull. Extraordinarily dull. The target is the CEO of the largest operation in the U.S. Finish this. Going.
I can't pull the trigger.
Come out or I'll do it!
Oh, Van, that sounds good.
It's really good. This is the movie that delivered what Tenet promised it would. This is the groundbreaking science fiction movie that offers you something you have never seen before. This is the kind of movie that in a perfect world would genuinely have saved cinema, but unfortunately this is not a perfect world. Great movie. The apple has decidedly not fallen far from the Cronenbergian tree. I think Andrea Rise was superb in it. I think just the whole film, everything about this film works. It looks incredible. It's sharply written. It's got wonderful practical effects. I was just blown away by this at the LFF this year.
Marvellous. An excellent use of Cronenbergian. Just trademark that right now. And very quickly, Let Him Go.
So Let Him Go. This was very recent. This was out about 2 weeks ago. So you can see this on demand right now. This stars Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. So you've got a bit of a Martha and Jonathan Kent reunion going on. I would describe this as Bone Tomahawk for grandparents, which might be the nichest concept I can think of for a movie. This is grandparents setting off in search of their missing grandson, only to find that his mother has married into a sort of justified level redneck crime family. It is harsh, it is brutal, it is unforgiving, but it still has heart and soul that it's not afraid to wear on its sleeve, as you'd expect from a film that stars Kevin Costner and Diane Lane as grandparents. It is brutal.
Leslie Manville, isn't it, as the matriarch? It's coming back.
She is the villain, would you believe? She's perfect. It's exactly the kind of grandiose, ruthless, Mama Soprano, crime lord kind of role that you can absolutely imagine Leslie Manville just tearing up the screen with. And this is coming off of the back of a year in which she had that drama with Liam Neeson as well. She had the cancer drama with Liam Neeson that I thought was absolutely tremendous as well, absolutely heartbreaking in that. So another great year for Leslie Manville, who I think had Phantom Thread last year, I think, as well. But Let Him Go, I think, is a genuinely terrific film and hands down one of the year's best for me.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to play a bit of the trailer and then I'm coming back to you for your one recommendation for 2021. Are you ready, Van? I've got 30 seconds to think of that.
We came to see our grandson.
My boy doesn't have to answer to you.
And we don't have to answer to you. Whoa.
Come with us. No, he'd kill me. Him and his mother.
Your grandson. He's a wee boy now. Don't start what you can't finish.
Oh, lock and load. All righty. Van, so the one film you're looking forward to in 2021?
In 2021, the one film I'm looking forward to, and it is for the dumbest possible reason, really, is F9, The Fast Saga, which is the 9th Fast and Furious movie.
Van.
Only because, I know, it's dumb as hell, but I have to admit, I just need to know how Han is back from the dead. I need to know what Justice is Coming is referring to, and I need to know how Vin Diesel has a younger brother played by John Cena, and this has never come up in 9 movies. But more than anything else, there is a rumor that this time we are finally going to get at least some of the characters into space, which is the thing I have wanted this entire time.
I don't know how you're going to fit all of that muscle on widescreen, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. And there's Bond as well. Van, it's always a pleasure. I'm sure you will be back in earnest reviewing all of these for us. But have a lovely new year. Thanks, Van.
Till the next year, Lily.
Thank you, Van. Connor there looking back on a weird year